In today's adventure, we are going to be helping some baby farm animals escape their pen before they get sold off to the petting zoo. So let's get started. We all know the classic song Old MacDonald Had a Farm, but have you ever heard of its not-so-classic cousin, Baby MacDonald Had a Farm? Well, it's almost the same, except instead of having cows, pigs, ducks, and chickens, Baby MacDonald had baby animals in their barn. They had baby goats that go bee 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 ba ba ba. They had baby sheep that go bee 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 ba ba ba. They had baby ducks that go quack 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 quack. And they even had baby cows that go moo 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 moo. One day, Baby MacDonald decided to open up the barn doors and let all of her baby animals out for a little bit of fresh air. "It's such a beautiful day," she said to herself, "and my little friends deserve a chance to stretch their legs and maybe find some fun in the sun." But she quickly realized that letting your babies roam free has its downsides when she saw them all running around the yard, chasing each other's tails and generally getting into everything. "Oh my goodness," she cried. "They'll never learn anything if I don't step in and help them along." So Baby MacDonald did something really smart. She took a big deep breath and sang a little song that she made up on the spot to try to teach her little friends what they shouldn't be doing. Don't run and don't hide. It's time to come inside. The baby animals stopped what they were doing and listened to Baby MacDonald. "I don't want you to run away because then you'll be lost and scared and won't know your way back home." Then she slowly walked towards the door with her animals trailing behind her. "Instead, we can play inside the barn where it is safe and fun and there is no place for you to run." As soon as they got inside, the baby animals continued to do the things that Baby MacDonald didn't want them to do. They ran around, they hid from each other. Some of them tried to fly away. And one of the baby goats even tried to climb up the wall. Baby MacDonald was losing her patience and was about to tell her animals off when she had an idea. She pretended to sneeze even though she wasn't sick. "Excuse me." The animals stopped what they were doing and looked at her. "You know," she said, "my favorite thing to do when I'm feeling under the weather is snuggle up with my favorite blanket and watch my favorite show." The animals stared at her for a moment. "What show?" they asked in unison. "Well," said Baby MacDonald, "it's called hide and seek, and it is a game where one person hides while the others count to a really high number." Then she turned to her television set and changed the channel to a blank one. "Let's pretend you're all hiding right now. I'll close my eyes and count to 10, and when I open them, you have to stay perfectly still until I find you. Got it?" The animals nodded their heads. "Okay, then ready, set, hide." As soon as she turned around, the baby animals dashed to find the best hiding spots they could. The baby sheep ran over to the hay bales and hid underneath one of them. The baby cows went to the water trough and lay down beside the other farm animals. The two baby goats climbed onto the top of the barn wall, pretending that they were trying to escape. And the two baby ducks waddled over to the feed bins and hid amongst the grain. After counting to 10, Baby MacDonald opened her eyes and looked around for her animals. She walked over to the hay bale and peeked underneath it. "Found you," she whispered to the baby sheep. Then she looked in the water trough, and you too. But she couldn't see any animals anywhere. She checked behind the feed bin, but those were empty too. And when she looked over at the barn wall, she saw both of the baby goats standing on top of it, flapping their legs and pretending that they were flying. "Oh, you silly little goats," she said. "I knew you weren't really trying to escape." Then she looked over at the television and realized that it was still on the blank channel. "Oh no," she cried. "The animals are gone and they took the TV remote with them?" She ran outside and looked around the farmyard, but she couldn't see any of her animals anywhere. She was just about to give up when she heard a familiar sound coming from inside the barn. She rushed to the door and opened it just in time to see all of her animals gathered around the television, watching a show together. "Oh, my little friends," she said. "I thought you were supposed to be hiding." The baby goat that had tried to climb the wall earlier stood up. "We were," he said. "But we got bored of playing by ourselves, so we hid in here instead." Baby MacDonald was furious. She told her animals that she was going to count to 3, and that if they weren't back in their pen by then, she would ground them for the rest of the day. But the animals didn't listen. They continued to watch their show even after Baby MacDonald left the barn and came back with a wooden spoon in her hand. She was just about to start counting when she heard a loud knock on the door. She opened it to see a friendly-looking farmer standing on her doorstep. "Hello," said Baby MacDonald. "Can I help you?" "Well," said the farmer, "I'm here to buy some of your animals to put in my petting zoo. Are you interested?" Before baby McDonald could respond, the animals in the barn started to moo, baa, quack, and neigh really loudly. "What was that?" asked the farmer. "Oh, nothing," said baby McDonald. "My animals aren't for sale." She closed the door inside. She had to do something to stop her animals from getting into trouble. Otherwise, her whole farm would eventually turn into a petting zoo. So she sat down on the floor with her animals and started to sing another song. "If you want to be my pet, you must listen to me. If you can't do that, then I'll let you go free." The animals nodded their heads to show they understood. And baby McDonald led them all back to their pen. "There," she said. "This is where you belong." Just then the farmer knocked on the door again. "I heard you talking to your animals," he said. "Are you sure you don't want to sell any of them?" "No," said baby McDonald. "These animals are my best friends, and I would never do anything to hurt them." The farmer smiled and tipped his hat. "Well then," he said, "I wish you luck, young lady. You're gonna need it." He closed the door and walked away. Baby McDonald was confused, but she didn't have time to think about it. She had to take care of her animals. So she fed them, brushed them, played with them, and sang to them all day long. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She kept hearing strange noises at night, and she kept finding animal tracks in the dirt that she didn't recognize. She even saw shadows moving around outside her window when she looked out at the farm. "What's going on?" she whispered to herself. "Why does everything feel so strange?" Then one morning she woke up early and decided to take a walk around the property to see if she could figure out what was bothering her. She looked everywhere, but she couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. Just then, she heard a loud crash in the forest, and she saw a deer jump out from behind a tree. "Oh," she said, "that's what's been bothering me. I haven't seen any wild animals around here for ages. Maybe they're finally starting to come back." She continued to walk around the farm, and that's when she noticed the animal tracks in the dirt. She looked closely and realized that they were rabbit tracks. "Oh," she said, "that explains why I keep seeing shadows around my windows. There's rabbits living in the forest again." Just then, one of the baby ducks swam up to her and said, "Look what I found." He was holding a shiny silver key in his bill. "What's that?" asked baby McDonald. "I don't know," said the baby duck, "but it looks important." Just then, the farmer from earlier walked up to them. "That," he said, "is the key to my tractor. I must have dropped it when I was fixing it this morning." Then he looked at baby McDonald and smiled. So he said, "Are you sure you don't want to sell any of your animals?" "Yes," said baby McDonald. "I'm sure." "Well," said the farmer, "if you're sure, then I'll be on my way." He waved goodbye to baby McDonald and her animals and walked back to his truck. Once he was gone, baby McDonald looked down at the key in the duck's bill. She had an idea that she couldn't quite believe, but she had to try it. She took the key and walked over to the barn. She inserted it into the lock and turned it. The door swung open and baby McDonald gasped. Inside the barn was a secret passageway that led to a tunnel. The tunnel led to a dark and scary forest. And at the end of it, baby McDonald could see a tiny light shining through the trees. She walked deeper into the forest and eventually came across a clearing. In the middle of the clearing was a small cottage made out of twigs and leaves. Baby McDonald knocked on the door. "Hello," she whispered. "Is anyone home?" Just then, the door creaked open, and a little girl with rosy cheeks and a red hooded cape stepped outside. "Who's there?" she asked. "It's me," said baby McDonald. "I'm the baby from the farm. I followed you here because I wanted to ask you something." "Okay," said the girl. "What is it? Do you know where the lost and found fairy lives?" she asked. "Yeah," said the girl. "I know exactly where to find her." She walked over to a nearby tree and climbed up it. "Follow me," she said. When they reached the top of the tree, the girl pointed to a bird's nest hidden amongst the branches. "The lost and found fairy lives in there," she said. "But you can't just walk up to her and ask for a wish. You have to earn it first. And to do that, you'll have to complete 3 tasks." "Okay," said baby McDonald. "What do I have to do?" "First," said the girl, "you have to bring me a drink of water from the wishing well in the center of town." "Okay," said baby McDonald. She thanked the girl for her help and ran as fast as she could to the nearest town. When she arrived, she searched everywhere for the well, but she couldn't find it anywhere. Just then, she heard a familiar sound coming from a nearby house. She knocked on the door and it opened to reveal an old woman with a kind smile on her face. "Hello," said Baby McDonald. "Do you know where the wishing well is?" "Why, of course I do," said the woman. "It's right here." She gestured to a bucket filled with water beside her. "Here you go." "Thank you," said Baby McDonald. She took the bucket and ran back to the tree. She climbed up it and approached the bird's nest. Hello," she whispered. "Is anyone home?" Just then, the nest began to shake and a tiny yet beautiful fairy emerged from it. "You must be the baby who came to make a wish," she said. "I've been expecting you." Yeah," said Baby McDonald. "I came to ask you for a favor. Will you grant it?" "Of course," said the fairy. "Anything for a friend." Baby McDonald handed the fairy the bucket and said, "Could you please fill it with magic water from the wishing well? I need it for my next task." "Of course," said the fairy. She waved her magic wand over the bucket and poof, it was filled with sparkling gold water. Just then, the girl appeared beside Baby McDonald. "Here you go," said the fairy. "Now off you go, you have one more task to complete." "Okay," said Baby McDonald. On her way back to the farm, Baby McDonald came across a river and she knew exactly what to do. She dipped her bucket into the water and pulled up a handful of sparkling fish. "Perfect," she said. "I know just the place to use this." She walked a little further and found a pond full of dirty and smelly water. She poured the magical water into it and poof, it was clean and clear. Then she released the fish back into it and they disappeared. Baby McDonald climbed back up the tree and approached the bird's nest. "Hello," she whispered. "Is anyone home?" "Yes," said the fairy. "I'm here." She flew out of the nest and landed on Baby McDonald's shoulder. "You've done a great job, child. Here's your reward." She waved her magic wand and poof, Baby McDonald was transformed into a beautiful fairy princess. "Wow," she said. "I've never felt this beautiful before." "I know," said the fairy. "Now you can make your wish." "I want to be a real fairy princess," she said. "And I want my animals to be my royal court." "Of course," said the fairy. "Anything for a friend." She waved her magic wand and poof, Baby McDonald and her animals became real fairy tale characters. They lived happily ever after in their enchanted forest. The end.